Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach, and it's utter chaos. I've been trying to study all day, but all I can think about is what to do with George Hewett. It's madness. Now, last night I did my video, finished work, got home late. I always try and smash it out as soon as I can. As soon as I finished it, started uploading, editing, blah, 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 started to read a little bit more about George Hewett. Probably should have read that stuff before I did my video, but it was a bit rushed after work. So normally this video is dedicated on a Friday to break-evens and fallen premiums. We'll touch on a few of those guys later in the video, but I feel like we just had to send out an SOS service for what to do with George Hewett. Now, Tim English isn't back either, which is frustrating. Vloston is out. I believe that's in this article here. I've been back and forth over what to do with Hewett, and I'll show you guys. So, look, it first started with me seeing this. You know, SuperCoach Elite's posted it. What's the credibility? Who knows? I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, but also unsure. And then old mate Drew Jones, I believe this morning. I mean, the key line for that is no guarantees next week. And the thing with this calf injury is that it has bled from the calf, and he was already out Tuesday. It's obviously got worse because he was named last week, so it seemed like he was touch and go, withdrawn on the Friday. We've seen Paddy Dangerfield miss a few weeks with this, and I'm not sure if he's going to be back. If there was a crystal ball out there and someone could say, yep, he'll be back next week, guarantee, well, that puts my mind at ease. But we don't have that, so I'm going to discuss what's going through my mind at the moment and possible options, what I might do, what I thought I was going to do. So it's a bit of a lengthy video, bear with me, but hopefully you guys are all feeling similar and we can get through this one together. So let me know your thoughts on who you're trading, what your movements are, and if you want to get along for some good SuperCoach content on Facebook as well, AFL SuperCoach 360, awesome page, as well as Serious SuperCoaches, definitely worth checking them out as well. They're certainly been all over it in terms of what to do, the latest news and that type of thing. But if my day wasn't stressed enough, you know, I've worked this week, I've had TAFE, and I've got a presentation to do Monday, I just thought, all right, Shorty, just have a gym session in the morning. Come on, make yourself some nice lunch, you know. So I went off to Woolies. I thought I'd throw a bit of health on the plate, get some veg going on with my little lemon and herb chicken from Aldi. And I go to cut it up, and I get this. Yes, we're going visual on Shorty SuperCoach. What is this? So here's what you're actually after. I used half my carrot today, and I guess you're wondering, Shorty, why on earth did you just buy 2 carrots? How sad are you? Well, I normally go those ones just in the bag. They're like $1.75. And I thought, no, I'm gonna go the old free range carrot. You know, they just look a little bit better. They're a bit bigger than your little bagged carrots. So I was like, okay, let's shake it up. And they look pretty good, but the real indicator of this is always check your carrots thoroughly. Now, I got home, I went to cut this. Look at this. Me carrot shouldn't bend. Look at that. Can you see how pathetic a carrot this is? Look at this. This carrot ain't bending. That's a proper carrot. So if I didn't have enough stress for my day, this bastard's just really throwing me off. And I know you guys love it when I tackle the big issues out there. And Woolies, straighten up. Sort your carrot situation out, because I went into that crate of carrots full of confidence and I came out with 50-50. Very disappointing. But, you know, now I'm left with the real debacle of I've only got about 1/3 of a carrot to do with lunch tomorrow. You know, Jesus. Shorty needs his nutrition and his health intake, you know, in amongst the ridiculous amount of grog he's probably going to drink on Saturday night. But no, it just rattled me. I was like, that is potentially the worst carrot I've ever seen. And I'm already in a haze of confusion over what to do with George Hewett, and it's not what I need. Can't a man just get some good broccoli and carrots for his healthy little lunch on a Friday? Anyway, let's take a drink and calm down and get into the real stuff. But what are we looking at now? My thought process on George Hewett. So here's my team at the moment. No trades made yet. I just want to show you the 2 outcomes I could do. So my general thought process, right? Hewett, if he comes back next week, great. I'd hold every day of the week. But we don't know that. And I've just got to, when people start talking about calves and bleeding and Achilles has been thrown around, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. Now, I think if we knew the outcome of this, wouldn't that make life easier? But we don't. We never do. That's what separates the good trades from the bad trades, doesn't it? So here was my trade originally before the news of Hewett not coming back. So I was just going to go a little bit of dual position action, throw De Conning back there, throw Cornelio up forward. I was going to swap O'Driscoll into the old midfield, trade him. Let's just go. Took Miller was coming into the side. And as I mentioned on the other podcast, I was going to fall a little bit short with Clark, because that's the thing. Clark out as well. So, shit's going everywhere. So this was my original trade. I thought, that's not too bad. Hewett's back. Great. I can sort of strengthen up that midfield really nice. We're batting 7 deep there. How good's that? I've got 4 primos down back. Awesome. Hinge probably comes back. How fantastic is that? Whatever. Probably put De Conning on the bench, but you get what I'm doing. All of a sudden, Hewett's is not back, and then it's sort of looking a little bit something like this, or however you want to shake it. And Ridley's been touch and go anyway. So really, I felt I've been left supremely short down back, really exposed. I didn't like it. Didn't sit comfortably with me. So then I thought about throwing this trade around. Let's just undo those. So I thought, George Hewett, what about if we say catch you later? Catch you later, mate. And the ship of Tom Stewart is sailing fast. It's quickly going to go to 650k off the back of that 187. So boom, maybe I can latch onto him. And the O'Driscoll trade stays the same. And I am hearing that Dacos should play. I think he was on the track today. There was a little bit of concern about whether he had the flu or not. Boom. Activate another saucy little trade boost. Yes, activate. And then I was going to have to go... Well, I was going to do this to Miller. So when I did my trades, or my trade plan, so there you go, Hewett, O'Driscoll and Brodie out for Stewart, McComb and Miller. When I did, you might be saying, whoa, why are you getting rid of Brodie for? There's no need to do that. I'm looking at him as a cash generator. I don't think that he is going to be a keeper. Therefore, I'm happy for him to complete his function as a cash maker. He's got a break even of, I think, 86 or something like that. 75. It's around there, whatever it is. He's not making an enormous amount of coin. I could hold him a bit longer, but when I worked out my trade plan the other week, I probably had him going for Taranto next week anyway. So I thought, well, it's a much of a muchness. I'll just do it now. And the fact that I can get Tom Stewart, because here's the thing, if I don't grab Stewart now, he's going to get a couple more price rises from that 187. He's going to be at 650 by like round 10, roughly. And then we're going to have to wait for him to gradually come back down, because he will level out. We'll be able to get him between 580, 600 again at some stage. But it might not be for 4 or 5 weeks. And who's to say he can't pump out another 140 in between that and really stay above 620? So I thought, latch onto him. Latch onto him while you can. And I just thought, Aaron Hall is also in my plans. We know the weakest line in terms of rookie scorers is down back. So that's the last place I wanted to expose myself to 4 of them, let alone 3. Sometimes I just get on a roll and 10 minutes goes by and Bandicam cuts me off. But anyway, we are back. So I don't want to expose myself for rookies down back because, yeah, Gibcus can score well. Yeah, McCartan can pump out a 70. It's great that he's back. They can equally pump out a 40, and I just don't want to roll those dice. So I feel more comfortable with this. What I don't want, I might even chuck a little VC on. McRae tonight. See how saucy that can get. And then next week, always try and think a couple of weeks ahead. It'll be, again, DeConning will work his way into the back line. Cornelio will work his way into the forward line. And Dacos in the midfield. And I'll just trade Dacos to Taranto. And Ward is back. It's probably Ward down to, whether it's Hamilton, whether it's Carroll, whether it's Francis Evans, whoever sort of scores well on that bubble. And then maybe the week after, it's Greg Clark comes in for Dixon or, whoever it might be. Obviously there's some dual position shuffling in there with all of that. But I will be able to go Dacos to Taranto and then eventually, maybe someone like Nick Martin to Tim English. And Cornelio will be an easy upgrade to a premium. He can easily be my last. And then someone like Hinge or Gibcus, who might be over 320, 330. Aaron Hall drops a bit in price, and then it might be a Pendlebury, it might be a Jordan Dawson. So that's my thought process. So in amongst all that waffle, unless I hear some crazy form of clarity that he's going to be back, as in George Hewett's going to be back next week, which by the looks of the press conference today, there's no guarantees that he's in next week. I'm going with this. I don't really want to do the trade boost again, but here I am. And that's what it's there for. The trade boost is there for when you need it. When emergency comes, you got to break the glass, boom, trade boost, I need you. So I feel like I need it this week, so I'm using it. At the end of the day, so of course, here's the main things it came down to. Just because you trade George Hewett out now doesn't mean you can't be friends later. He can come back into our side in 3-4 weeks, because the fact is he hasn't gone under a ton yet. He's averaging 117. Not only is he a keeper, he's one of the best defender options playing through that Carlton midfield. So we might want to be friends with him again later in the year. And yeah, we might have to pick him up for 570, 580, something like that, all depending on the timing. But he can be part of our side later in the piece. It's not see you later forever. We're just on a break, Ross and Rachel style. But the big thing that I came down to was we got 35 trades this year. A ridiculous amount in my opinion. Way too many. I know we've got COVID stuff going on, but 35 trades, generally speaking, is absurd. Now, if this was any other year, I'm holding him because trades are more valuable. They're still valuable, but they're more like gold when we've had 28 or 24 in years gone by. 35 trades? Well, fuck, if I'm not using one this week, when a bloke could be out for a second or a third week, I feel comfortable using that trade because I feel like I could complete my team with 14 or 15 trades left or 12 trades left. Like, I feel as if it's worth the trade. I just feel like, why should I sit here all week hoping that he comes back next week? And if he doesn't, I'll be kicking myself. Shorty, you got plenty of trades. Why didn't you just use one? Take the chance out of it. So I feel like I'm not 100% sold on trading him. My default is to hold faith and keep my premiums if they're just short-term outs. But in this instance, with the unique circumstance with how many trades we have this year, I'm more comfortable with that the next week, him not being named again and being like, oh my God, well, when is he coming back? If it's not now, then when the hell is it? And how fit is he going to be when he does come back? Has he been running? Has he been training? Is he going to average 110 from here on out, So getting Tom Stewart, who I've really wanted for a long time, was sort of the cherry on top to sow that seed. So I guess in amongst however many minutes I've been talking for, I am going to trade him. Now, I hope that helped. It was a bit of a ramble. It was a bit of a hodgepodge of information. But hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight into the debacle that I've been going through. And I'm sure you guys will be going through as well. But if it doesn't make sense for your team this week, look at what you want to do next week. Get the calculator out, get the pen and paper out, whatever you want to do. Calculate your trades for next week and the week after. Because I'm telling you, Tim Taranto under 500k, you're going to want to get him. Speaking of which, let's have a look at some of these break-evens in terms of some of the premiums that might be falling. Now, McRae, I'm pretty sure every man and his dog has him, but he's got a whopper break-even, going to fall in price. Same with Brayshaw. disappointed I bring him in last week, and then out of Petrarca, Miller and Brayshaw, he clearly had the worst score, but he'll be good for the long run. And I tend to not go too much further than the 150 when we're talking about these premiums. Tom Mitchell's in there, but I just don't know if he's the same premium that we've always sort of felt he was. Now, this week, Miller's at a really nice price point. I'd say Petrarca is also at a pretty solid price point. Luke Parker, also at a really nice price point. And as I mentioned before, Tom Stewart, I think a break even about 69 or 70. So if you want to get him, I suggest do it now. And if you don't, you're either subscribing to paying 30, 50k more than you can right now, or waiting 4 to 5 weeks for him to fully cycle, because 187's an outrider. That's not going to happen again. But for that full cycle of his price to peak and then come back down to normality, it's probably 4 or 5 weeks away. So you might be without the best or top 2, 3 defender in the game for another month or so. On the other side of the coin, who should we get that's making us some cash? Now, Strandika is out with brutal pronunciation, and I'm very confident I'm butchering it. He's out with health and safety protocols, so is Clark. Who isn't at the Eagles? Shorty might get the call up, I'm telling you. Curtis is on the bubble. A solid option. I just think of a full small forward in a poor team is going to have games where he scores 36, and then he'll have games where he kicks a couple, lays a few tackles, and scores 87. So I don't know if he's going to be an amazing cash cow. I'd suggest his job security is solid. Carroll, we can wait another week on. Scored really nice. I get the sense his job security is poor, and this video sort of comes full circle because I feel like when Hewett comes back in, Carroll will be right on the chopping block. Rioli, really nice score, but much like Curtis, he's going to rely heavily on when he can snag a few goals and lay a few tackles. He's going to throw in a sub-40 score every now and then. McComb's the one. Yeah, I've brought it in. I'm not fully sold on his job security either, but I feel like he's the one on the bubble. You know, he's a mature ager. He had 21 touches last week. You know, copped a bit of praise from the coach. You know, of the options in front of me, is probably the best. Begg was solid. If you need someone in the ruck, keep him on your radar. Probably not this week, but in coming weeks. I like Hamilton. Bit of a rough and tumble, sort of hard-nosed, smaller defender. 102k, got dual position. Keep him on the radar. I'll be watching him close against the Cats this week. Dempsey being dropped might hurt a few. That's disappointing. And then I think there might have been one other that I wanted to touch on. Maybe there wasn't. But that's about all I think there was to discuss. Yeah, that looks about it. So they're sort of the main ones, guys. How am I going for time here? 8 or so. 8. Oh, yeah, we might just stop that there because I'll probably waffle on for another minute. So good luck to you. Good luck to you this week. That is what I'm thinking is very relevant this week. Clark buys us a bit of time, but it will hurt a few because he misses. So it was a bit hot and cold throughout the teams. You know, I got Ward back, I got McCartan back. Hinge should be named, which was handy, all handy for cash gen. But then Hewett is a big head scratcher. So I'm feeling like McRae can have a big night tonight. I'll be keeping a close eye on that. But otherwise, have a good week, guys. All the best to you. Like I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to put them in below. I might not get to them until maybe Saturday morning or something. I'm just about to do a bit more study and then get to your questions from Thursday night's video. So I might not get around to everything, but hopefully this has given you a bit of an idea of not just what I'm doing, but the process of thoughts and how I actually got there and how it might affect your team. But I can't stress enough, if you don't know what to do this week, look at what you want to do next week, because sometimes it answers itself. Oh shit, I really want to do this next week. Well, if I don't do this week, then I can't do that. So sometimes it answers itself when you look a little bit down the track and you go, shit, I actually will need this and I'll need that cash. And, you know, have a play around with it. But I might just take a long bath, put the candles on and try and relax a little bit this afternoon. But anyway, it's been a bit of fun. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.